Hello and welcome to this round 5 of the HSO 1996 British Touring Car Championship, this time from Oulton Park International Circuit, which is the layout where we go up all the way to the top chicane, the Shell Oil chicane on this particular year's 1996 layout. Has been named several things before and after, including both the Fallstones and Knickebrook chicanes. But anyway, we'll get into the action here and go to the standings first and foremost, where after round 4 at Silverstone we have Richard Coxon in his Renault in the lead on 75 points. He had a pretty successful event last time out. In second place we have Jundt, who is on 72 points in his Audi A4. He was leading the championship early on. In third position, sorry if I'm a bit slow here, but I'm trying to solve a bit of frame drop issues. In third we have Grégoire Goissin in his Volvo 850 sedan on 64 points, having had a couple of pretty good events after a very difficult opening 2 events. And fourth is Peter Blom in his Honda on 56 points, and just 1 point behind him in fifth is Jacob Fredriksson in his Volvo 850 number 8 car on 55 points. Moving further down the field, in 6th position is Peter Blom's teammate in the Hondas, Richard Wilkes on 49 points. And in 7th, unfortunately he is not driving with us anymore because of commitments at school, but that's Richard Soania on 41 points. All of those points he scored in the opening 2 rounds. 8th is David Yates, who joined after round 2, I think. So he has been with us from my memory has gone blank, but from round 3 onwards, and he's on 36 points, and he was fighting for the lead. I noticed I have him in, at least I believe so, in the wrong car, but anyway. In 9th position we have Peter Lavac in the second of the Renault Lagunas, and he's on 16 points. Had a very difficult round at Silverstone due to him being down with a cold. And 10th is Matthias Weber in the second Nissan, and he's on 15 points. And in the Independence Cup, after round 4, we have Dave Simmons in the lead on 87 points. Second is Hansa Mild in the first of the Ford Team Dynamic cars on 80 points. Mick Chapman, who had a tremendous round 4, also scored a win in the Independence Cup, is third, and the second of the Ford in the Team Dynamic Fords on 59 points, and 1 point behind him is Eivind Andersen in the venerable Toyota Carina, and fifth is Simon Watman on 35 points in his Vauxhall Cavalier. and I'll be with you in just a moment more. We are dropping a few frames, so I'll put on some music while I'll try to solve this issue. So excuse me for a few moments.
User joined your channel.
Okay.
Hello and welcome back to the BTCC 1996 Championship. Sorry for being away for a while, but internet issues is internet issues. But I'm now joined by David Jundt, who's breathing into the mic quite heavily. Hi, mate.
Hi, Jonathan. Good evening, guys.
So,
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. A little bit of issues as you could notice, but yeah, seems to be doing fine with that, and I myself are doing good. How are you doing?
Well, slightly, well, I've got a bit of a cold. Not too bad. Just yeah. Otherwise, I'm okay. Or like looking forward to tonight's race. Well, 2 races, not just 1. I was just said like more like I'm looking forward to the event tonight. Because,
Yes.
well, Oulton Park, to be honest, this is the long, I think, was it the Foster's or Island version?
It's the
Uh,
full international circuit, so up to the Shell Oil
Right.
happened.
I always like this the most of all the configurations because I'm just saying like it's all about the length. I prefer the longest track with all the long hairpin. I think Knickerbocker with the chicane, all that, because just for me the shortest version of Old Park is too short for me. I like long tracks, so, and it has some nice chicanes, some, well, the technical part which is really interesting, so intrigued to see who's taking them the best tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, and it could also be said about this particular layout of the Oulton Park circuit that drivers, as you have said here, like the layout, but historically it's been somewhat difficult to pass because most of the turns on the circuit goes 2 ways, so you might get them at one place, but then you can't quite make it stick, and your opponent, as it were, gets you back on the next turn.
Yes, true.
And this is also I think the event in '96 where David Leslie in his Honda went off at Island Turn and went across the grass, across the gravel, the wrong way round, and hit the tire barriers going into the hairpin quite heavily, pretty much writing off the car in the process, unfortunately. But at the moment we are in qualifying, and I will just quickly try to find. We have yet again, certainly not for the first time this season, Grégoire Goissin is leading the proceedings, and doing so I think fairly comfortably, although I haven't checked on the times. And second on the grid at the moment looks to be, I think that's Matthias Weber actually in the Nissan. It is indeed. So the Nissan's apparently is liking this circuit quite a lot, which I think we can understand, with it being a very a circuit with many turns, and the Nissan has probably one of the best chassis to handle all the turns. And third, I think number 7, that would be Jakob Fredriksson. Yep. Okay, I have another driver in the wrong car on the standings. I apologize for that. I'll try to solve that for the next round. But Jakob Fredriksson third in the Vauxhall Vectra, so he's doing quite well around here. I'm somewhat surprised that the Vauxhall can do that well with the suspension issues that we've seen earlier, and Oulton is not that smooth of a track, but you'll live to see impressive things. And actually fourth at the moment is oh sorry, I thought that was the number 44. That's number 45. That's Jundt, doing quite well yet again in the Audi, and as long as he's somewhat up the front of the grid, he'll be able to do quite well, especially with the four-wheel drive of that Audi at the start.
Don't want to say wrong car. You know how I feel of people being in the wrong car.
Yes, that's a bit of a no-no. Yves Placé is 5th in the meantime in the BMWs, so the BMWs are doing quite well as well by the looks of things. And this is actually...
To be honest,
Sorry, go ahead.
when I see like that, well, like more or less, when I see like only like the first two are within reach of each other, then I can't really love being, I don't know, competitive field right now. I mean, 1 second from the first to the fourth, that's a bit of a big stretch, so I'm hoping that we'll manage to shorten gap a bit, because otherwise we might get a boring, not really a boring event, but as I said, that Jundt hits below 1 second from Gregoire, but yeah, it's really, he's really shining at this track apparently. I mean, yeah, it's longer, it's technical. I got some. I mean, even the Iceland has got this its banking. We've got tricky shades, fast corners, slow ones. So I guess drivers are being tested quite a lot tonight at this track. So this could probably, well, reason why there's so big gaps between like Greg, Peter, than from the field right now. Maybe with the length of the track, there's a bit less time to set a good quality up, and just maybe people make too many mistakes and they lose a lot of time. But at the moment, even though we know that Greg was also a master of qualifying, gaps are a bit big, so I'm surprised.
Well, it could also be that that the circuit, as you say, is a bit troublesome, and also the cars trying to get them good. But let's go through the layout as Greg crosses the finish line, and we go into Cascades. Sorry, that's Old Hall, my bad. Going down the avenue and Denton's this little kink, and then come to Cascades, this sweeping left-hander downhill. Try to get the car as close to the curving on the inside as possible, running a little bit wide there. Going down the lakeside straights and straight and into Island Bend, this left-hander, very quick 5th gear, full on, very impressive, and now into Shell Oil's hairpin, a little bit wide, but I think he'll get a pretty good exit here, just behind his teammate, which is Matthew Hull for this event. Down into Fullstone's chicane, trying to stay off the tyre bundles and trying to get a good run, maybe held up just a little bit there. Through Hilltop, this hill, and down into the Knickerbrook chicane, a right, left and a tighter right. Again trying to stay off the tyre bundles. We can see some scuffs of other drivers hitting those tyres, unfortunately. And it looks like he's backed off a little bit, but we'll go anyway. Up Clay Hill here, and then into Druids.
Oh, looks like Ben Polloy is being in the gravel pit a bit.
Oh dear. A double right-hander is Druids. And down into Lodge, this right-hander, the last proper turn of the circuit. And Deer Leap is this little drop in elevation and up again. And that is a lap around the Oulton Park International layout. As you said, we had Ben Pollet, unfortunately, in the gravel, but hopefully he'll be able to get out of there.
Looks like I'm not being that very helpful tonight, because the feeling... it looks like my ping is not that bad as spectator, but the cars are warping a bit, so I can't really predict and, well, talk about lines, because I can barely see what lines they take, as Gregor has offered Island. Well, I guess that's his quality lap overdone. Done and dusted.
Would probably be. Or we arrived just a little bit too quick indeed.
Looks like most people have stopped anyway.
Yep.
5 have finished, as I can see. As far as I can see, I mean.
Yep, and it looks like Yves Poisset is still out on a lap, so we'll ride on board with him. I do apologize for what seems to be a few dropped frames still, but hopefully it will get better as the evening goes on. Of course, I unfortunately can't make any big changes, but if it gets too bad, I'll start a second stream. And work from there. Going into Druids, a little bit wide. It gets it in nice and tight for the second bit of Druids. It's a good run by the looks of things. Across the line, I don't think... Nope, he stayed where he is, so he qualifies 8th. Looks like most of the others have finished, so we'll just try to... Looks like... let's see... Best privateer is again David Saber by the looks of things, so he's enjoying his Vauxhall Cavalier quite well in this championship, although he had a trying round at Silverstone. Eivind Andersen qualifies 2nd in the privateer class, and Dylan Campton gets 3rd. And a bit further down we have Mick Shopman, I think. No, that's Hansa Mill, sorry, I couldn't see the number on the car. And then we have Simon Bottman in 5th. Let's see if we can get cars to show up again, just to go through the last of the privateer cars. Unfortunately not, so... Looks like there's a bit of issue on the server, but hopefully it will solve itself. Yep, there are all the cars now. Fortunately. So what are your predictions or thoughts for this event, apart from the very spread out field in qualifying? If you have any predictions, that is, or thoughts.
I probably have, but each time I predicted Greg won or had bad and such. But hey, heard I'm lucky or something. Let's say Gregor is for me probably the guy. I'll probably say he's gonna be the winner. He looks like the one that seems to do best or well right now at the track, so I would say probably the strongest candidate for the win, followed by Peter, who's on his toes, but I'd probably say it's for me. I'm guessing Gregor will keep it on the road this time and win, I guess. Sorry, my nose is still running.
No worries on that. Looks like Richard Coxon made it up into 3rd, so he could be in with a shout as well, since he's won a couple of races this season and had some good events. And I'd say Jan Titz would also be in with a shot, although the run to the first turn is very short here. It is side by side starting at Oulton Park, so only one row of cars to get up into the lead. I also noticed we have a bit of a pack here, so oh damn, we had a bit of contact between the Nissan and the, I think that was Jan Titz Audi. Was indeed. he also lost his rear wing, so well, he'll probably still do some practice starts actually. And I would again not count out Jakob Fredriksson to have a shot at the win here. Even though he is driving the Vauxhall, which is a bit unsuited for the bumpiness of Oulton Park, I think he as a driver can work around those slight issues that, as we saw. Oh, we're big off for Peter Blom right there, trying to get around one of the privateer. I think that was one of the privateer Fords. Was indeed, it was Nick Chapman's 77 Team Dynamics Ford. Almost enough for Matthias Weber coming out of Druris right there. Managed to hold it on the circuit now. It will also be interesting to see if any driver has any specific line through any of the turns around here, since there are a few open turns that, as it were, where you can overpit sideways there, but with a front-wheel drive car, but Weber has no problems keeping it on the circuit in the end. But the turns are very open to slightly differentiating lines, like this hairpin here. You can stay very close to the apex, to the curving all the way around, or you can do as Weber did there, run the middle line. We saw, I think it was Gregoire, or Greg, as he prefers to be called on the broadcast, who ran the very wide line up almost onto the grass on the outside. That'll be a bit difficult to run in the race, I think, but that's also a possible line to run.
Have we discussed yet the most interesting happening in the lineup? I mean, it's not like the lineups have stayed have changed like every race, but most interesting change is between the two teams that have a completely different philosophy of which axle is gonna be what. So we have change between the W team and the Reynolds William, which is now Ray Riddle in the menu car, while Peter Lavak went back to a rear-wheel-driven car in the BMW. So probably didn't, as from what I see, he didn't quite like driving front-wheel cars and decided to go to the BMW, even though he was what the car might be. Well, of course, it's a bit less, performs a bit less well than the front-wheel cars in comparison, but looks like if he's more at home with rear-wheel drive, so we'll see if Petter will be able to get more consistent performances out of that car, instead of having quite a lot of issues with suddenly starting to roll over at certain angles and such. So we'll see Petter Lava back in the top 10 more often than not this time, and maybe same goes maybe for Ray Riddle now with the car. Hope.
That would definitely be a possibility. But we've also heard the BMW drivers complaining maybe a little bit about the car being a bit Mainly,
One should.
I think it was
Well,
Yves Placé who said so after Silverstone, after the start
well,
incident that occurred there.
one shouldn't forget that this was BMW's last season race until, well, this year now, as BMW comes back with a work century. Reporting that, I'm not sure, it's Westbury Racing, photo.
Yeah, I believe that's the team, yeah.
It looks like, maybe there's a reason that the car's not feeling that great. There must be a reason that BMW decided to stop racing in the BTCC at the end of '96. Because probably the rear-driven cars were on backhand against the front wheels. It was also all-wheel, but all-wheel had its advantages. But maybe the BMW crew felt like they were disadvantaged, not to mention that I think they were also focusing on the series at that time, probably the STV itself, STW.
The German
And there must be a reason
touring cars.
that the car didn't feel that great. Well, the guys have to basically say deal with it. But yeah, there's a reason that BMW left at the end of the year. That the car's probably not that great, to be honest. There are people that they will rear-wheel drive so much that if they are given one, they can do pretty amazing things with it, I would say. I mean, there's always been people who love the special kind of car and do better performances with it. So the left, and we'll see how it's gonna pan out in the end.
Well, Peter Lavac did win the opening round of the 1978 F1 Championship that HSO ran, and it was broadcasted, which the race you can find on the Historic Sim Racing Organization's YouTube page. In the Williams car he was running then, rear-wheel drive, low downforce at Buenos Aires, so would be somewhat similar to the BMWs in this championship, I suppose. As the last few cars are finishing their warm-up laps, and we'll shortly jump into the race. We have, I think, Michaliana coming through in the Peugeot, and the car running wide out of Druids, and we are now
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
to the race.
They probably hear me, but I mean there's still formation lap, but if Richard and Pete know what they're doing, they should immediately block the space between their cars at the start, because behind them is a four-wheel driven Audi again.
Well,
and if they don't, then probably Greg might lose the lead at the first turn. But it's not a very far run, so we'll see.
well, it's a possibility. It has been done in the past. Closest to remembrance for me would have been in the BTCC. I think it was last year. The BMWs were starting in the second row, and Plato was one of the drivers. I think it was Jordan in the second of the two cars starting on the front row. They talked between themselves by the looks of things at the start and blocked the inside, so the BMWs had to run around outside and were unable to take the lead because of that. But anyway, going through the grid as we head out on the formation lap, Grégoire Gouassa is on pole. Peter Blom is second. Richard Coxon took third with Jan Titz fourth. Jakob Fredriksson is fifth with Matthias Weber sixth. Seventh is Ray Ridal, who is one of those who swapped, as David alluded to. Eighth was Yves Placé. Ninth was Hablik in the second Vauxhall. 10th overall and first in privateer cars is David Saber. 11th, Eivind Andersen. 12th was Dylan Canton in the privateer Honda. 13th is Philippe Martinelli. 14th, and ahead of him at the moment is Peter Lavac. Where are we? 17th, I think. A bit out of sorts here. 15th, sorry, overall was Juha Boos. 16th looks to be Richard Wilkes, so struggling a lot in qualifying. 17th, Hansa Mild. 18th looks to be the Alan Forster in the BMW. 19th, I think this would be, is, I can't actually see, but it's one of the Peugeots. Since I can't see the number, I can't actually tell you who it is at the moment. That's Michal Janak. 19th is Simon Wattman. 20th overall, Ben Paulet. With Matthew Hull, Mick Chapman and Dave Simmons running out the field. So heading into the start here, we'll have the lights coming on any moment here.
I have some amazing lag now, so I'm not sure if it's just me or anyone. Cars keep disappearing and coming back from me on my side.
Okay, looks to be working on my end though.
Tit is already looking for the gap.
Yeah, and
Or is
also
pointing that way.
looks like Richard Coxon is also lined up to try and take it at the start. A bit of lining up still to do. There we go, it looks like the lights will be coming on.
People keep trying to repark their cars. Great parking championship.
Yeah, it's a bit of an elevation on the grid, so that will be why it's a bit difficult for them all to get into position. Looks like it's one of the Peugeots in biggest trouble. Well, this is dragging on just a bit too much, I'm afraid. Or maybe now.
I think you just need to hold the brake.
Yeah, well, that is harder than it would seem sometimes, because you might not think that you would need to do that.
Maybe the officials don't like how Jundt hits. Oh
the
no,
lights
there
are
we
now
go.
on. So finally the race is about to go on, and the green lights are on, and Jan Titz has had another good start by the looks of things. No, actually he hasn't been able to get Owen cars off on the BMW in the wall. There, big off for yeah. Oh, and that's David's that's Simon Wattman off out of Old Hall, but going back up the front of the field, we have Gregor Guazza in the lead, Jan Titz is second, Ben Paulet is third, being challenged by Richard Coxon, going into Ireland. Oh, and be careful here, fellas, it's the first lap, cold tires. Would look like everyone will be getting through it okay. And a bit of side-by-side action near the back of the grid. Looks like Jareb or Paulet and Matthew Hull, and Simon Wattman making his way by. So it looks like Matthew Hull is struggling just a little bit.
Oh.
But again, going up the field. Side-by-side actually a bit further back.
Oh. Miroslav Havlik crashed.
That's unfortunate.
At the back, his car. He's lost his front bumper.
That's
Not sure how. Oh, I know why. He clipped the barrier on the other side and was thrown across the track.
Oh no. Well, unfortunately, it looks like he's out of the race, but that's one of the dangers with the circuit, unfortunately. So as they go into Lodge and their lead to finish the first lap, Gregor Guazza is leading, Ben Paulet is second, Titz third, Coxon fourth, Placet fifth, Weber sixth, Fredriksson has dropped back just a little bit in 6th. David Saber is actually up to 7th. Place A is 8th. Owen running a little bit wide are some of the cars at the start at the first turn here. And Ray Redal is 8th. 9th is Peter Lavac.
For that position.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just overtaken him. the two people that switched cars just switched positions.
Well, it's good that they can have a bit of battle with each other. Oh, and we have a spinner. Oh, and big contact. Oh, dearie me. Oh, and a bit more contact between Anderson and Wilkes. As Weber gets going once again. I think he...
How did they miss him?
Oh, he ran wide at Island and ended up on the grass and span. And unfortunately ended up right in the way of David Saber. That's very unfortunate, but...
Lost his rear wing, but it's really fortunate that he apparently wasn't hit by anyone.
Well, he was hit by David Saber, but that he wasn't hit by anyone else is definitely a fortunate situation. And
okay, I couldn't see it.
And thankfully, the circuit is a bit friendlier to cars that doesn't have a rear wing, because the side is a bit slower in the turns. Leading the privateers in the meantime, because of David Saber's loss of position because of the incident, is Dylan Canton in the privateer Ford. Sorry, not privateer Ford, privateer Honda. So that's another good round for him by the looks of things. I also noticed that Dave Simmons, who joined late because he had to pick up the misses on the other side of the village, is making his way up the field. Oh, and a bit of contact between him and Ben Paulet indeed. Looks like both got away with it, so all is fair in love and war and racing.
Poor Ben has to wait a very long time.
Oh, and a bit of I think Coxon tried to have a go at Jan Tits down into Shell Oil Säfin. Actually not, it was just Jan Tits running a little bit wide, but yeah. Oh, and Fredriksson just having a little bit of a look on Yves Placé for 5th position.
I'm especially interested in the for 3rd because it's Tits against Cox. This is a championship important one, so I'm looking at that one. Looks like the Audi is missing a bit of its advantage. I mean, the starting advantage has now disappeared, and he's been replaced by Peter for 2nd, and now more or less on the thread by Richard. Looks like the Audi is struggling a bit here.
Yep, which is Owen as he runs wide.
Yes, and he's done it for the... Well, I probably was when I thought it was more or less just the first time doing it since Richard angrily flashed his lights, I guess.
Would seem to be the situation.
Well, I guess Jan needs to learn how to stay on the track.
As Coxon tries to look around outside to get a good run out of the hairpin here.
Probably a bit annoyed by now.
Yep.
So
Well,
he's going for it.
Yep. Well, as I mentioned, the circuit is a little bit difficult to pass on, so it would be...
Speaking of Tits, looks like his sister is not sick tonight.
Yeah, the second Kershaw is missing indeed.
I thought I saw a present from her, so yeah, a bit confused as to why the second Kershaw is not there. But anyway, Jan has managed to bridge it a bit again.
Yeah, I noticed I see sideways at Bruins.
Oh, here comes Fredriksson also crossing with a nice move down the inside.
One Placer tries to do the undercut. I think Fredriksson always still goes for the move. Oh, he's on the grass. Oh. Nice job by Fredriksson right there. Let's just see if we can. So he was right behind him going into Druids, and as you say, very nice pass up the inside, running a little bit wide, and that's what invited Placer to have a go down at Lodge.
Well, it's a great move. Certainly, by both of us, to be honest.
It was indeed, and
Yes. It requires trust to race someone like that.
does indeed. Oh, and there's contact up ahead. And Tits is in the gravel, but
Yay.
thanks to his four-wheel drive, he's able to get out, and Coxon is waiting very sportingly of him. When he loses a position to Fredriksson by the looks of things, he does indeed. So that's a very costly mistake. Oh, and Jan Tits does the clever thing, and when he realizes he can't make the turn, he takes to the grass instead, but he should technically, I think, relinquish the position because of that, but well, let's leave that be for the time being, unless he does it another time. But this is a definite battle pack here.
Dick is probably loving that he has a chance for a podium. Who has slight look, but the door is closed. Oh! That was close.
Yeah, but it looks like Coxon is on for a try at the move down here, in a Plato-esque move. Plato's favourite passing spot in 97, down at Lodge, and he gets the position very nicely done. So throw away all thoughts that the event will be boring. The racing here is currently brilliant. It looks like Placer had a bit of a moment down to the old hall, down into Cascades, a lot of locking brakes.
Well, overall the the Schnitzer team looks a lot better than last time out because they've got both cars in the top 8. Well, of course one has retired on the start incident, but two of them in the top 10 is great work so far.
Yep, and here comes Richard Wilkes on the second of the BMWs you're talking about. I think that's... actually can't see which BMW that is at the moment.
That's Peter Lavak.
Ah, it is indeed. Oh, and sideways in... Ooh. All stones is not a set of turns to take in side by side. Thankfully they were able to sort it out. And also noticed, as Richard Wilkes goes for the move into Nicky Brook, but he runs wide. So he'll let the...
Matthias Weber is in the... Matthias Weber's in the pits, interesting.
Or maybe there were more damage to the car than what there seemed to be. And David Sabre, and David Sabre is actually now. Oh, and Peter Lavach ran wide at Druids, and there goes Richard Wilkes and David Sabre up by. But now he's looking to try and defend from Dylan Canton. Running a little bit wide yet again, so it looks like the BMW...
Oh, Tate is off. Oh, and here comes Fredericks. Oh, that was close.
Oh no. Oh, big contact. Oh no.
Oh dear. I've jinxed it. One BMW again. Oh no.
Oh, that's a big off. Well, that was...
There's no rear wing on the car.
I just tried to run around outside, and unfortunately that was not the place to run around outside. Through Denton's, and very scaringly similar to the off that Calvin Burt had in the same year.
It's amazing that less happened than I thought that would happen. Jan lost time because of that, as Jan has retired, so we have now 2 retired Schnitzer, so I've already jinxed it again, but lucky that they came away. Like, it's only himself that crashed now.
Yep, and it
Could
looks...
have been much worse.
Yeah, and it also looks like the number 2 because of the switch I haven't learned yet. Ray Riddell is struggling a little bit in this first opening race because he's down a lap by the looks of things.
It has got
Unfortunately.
his lights on. I don't really understand why he does it. If he wants to be angry at someone, then he should be angry at Eve, not at the guys ahead.
Well, technically he shouldn't be angry at anyone because that looked like more of a racing incident than anything else.
Yeah.
And Coxon goes down the inside of Fredriksson into Cascades. As I noticed a Ford running wide and into the barriers. I think that could...
The pits small. Yeah, Vapor is in the pits once more.
Okay. It looks like Sorry, go ahead.
No, just seeing again that Pole is being lapped by some people, but not really important.
I'd assume he was in the Ford that ran wide at Cascades then. I think he outbroke himself. So still in the lead is Greg. Second is Peter Blom. And the distance between them seems to be pretty static. Maybe Greg has increased the lead by just a little bit. Third is Richard Coxon, who just did a nice move down at Cascades on Jakob Fredriksson, who's in fourth. Trying to keep a watching breath and be there if anything happens to Coxon. Jundt, after the antics that's gone on, is in fifth position, trying to catch back up to the two fellas ahead. And then there's a big gap to Richard Wilkes actually, who's made his way up the field nicely here into sixth position. And Peter Lavac in the BMW still doing well in seventh position.
Total Cup battle behind him raging on as just tried to outbreak David Saber, but wasn't successful.
And Saber has actually taken the lead since we last saw this battle. You see sideway into Old Hall, and Canton runs wide, very wide, and so does the Renault behind of Ray Riddell. And a bit of a lock-up from Peter Lavac, but he stays on the circuit. And Philippe Martinelli is actually having a good event as Dave Simmons runs wide behind him. I think he's actually in the top 10 at the moment, or is he 11th? Let's have a quick look. Philippe Martinelli is actually in 10th position, so this would be his first points of the season, I think, if he's able to stay there. Johan Bors is in 11th, trying to take that 10th position from Philippe, and Dave Simmons, having started from last position on the grid, is 13th and third in the Privateer class, so a good recovery drive as such.
Something must happen to Øyvind Andersen since I remember him in third in his class, so
yeah,
I'm not sure what happened there.
Well, I noticed him off while we were talking about the incident up at Cascades between Placé and Tits. He was off down at Island and Shell Oil's hairpin, so presumably he had a moment in Island Bend and ended up on the grass. Luckily it doesn't seem like he has any damage, it's just loss of time. And a bit further behind, Matthew Hull and Simon Wattman is having a feisty battle here, both running deep in Knickebrook and then running wide again, coming out of it. It's good to see that they are having a battle between themselves, even though they are a bit further down the grid. But back up to the front, Craig is still in first, Blom third, Coxon third, and Fredriksson fourth, dropping back from Coxon unfortunately for him, so looks like the top 5 positions would be pretty much set here. Wilkes also has a big gap, so he should have 6 positions sewn up. Well, for 7th on the other hand is still up for grabs, as Lavac still hasn't been able to shake Sabre and Canton off his rear wing. And actually running on a drift coming out of Knickebrook there. It's interesting to see some of the guys driving the cars very much on the edge. Slightly more obvious maybe when it's a rear-wheel drive. Owen Canton has a run here, but looks of things on David Sabre. He's up the inside, he has a little bit of an overlap, but Sabre is really good on brakes, but he runs deep on the brakes, and Owen Sabre is actually on the grass. I don't know if Canton pushed him off or if Sabre was simply too deep on the brakes, but Canton takes the lead on privateer class. As Sabre is looking up the inside at Old Hall, but I think he'll lose out to the one lap behind Renault. Actually, the Renault of Ridal drops back, so very sporting there. He will try not to get involved in the battle for positions that's ahead of him. It looks like Dave Simmons is struggling just a little bit. He's running wide for the second time I've seen him going through cascades. It looks like most of the field is actually pretty spread out, unfortunately, but it looks like Philippe Martinelli has actually had an incident. And I also noticed that the gap from the battle for 7th was a bit bigger, so maybe Bos and Martinelli has had to come together somewhere on the track. But it definitely seems like Peter Lavac is far more at home in the rear-wheel drive BMW compared to the Renault he was driving earlier, so that's good to see.
Indeed. And he's still got a tough time with total cars. As Dylan is looking up. He's inside and he's outside.
When he's actually on the grass a little bit. I can sort of understand why Canton would like to put Lavac behind him, because that would put a car between him and Sabre for the fight and for the win in the privateer class.
Yep.
But it also puts a bit of danger into it, because at the moment I don't think Sabre is closing in, so actually just behind I noticed Ray Ridal has gone past David Sabre, not for position. Oh, and Sabre goes up the inside of Ridal. Don't know if something has happened here, because suddenly it's a bit more feisty, but technically Ridal shouldn't get involved with a car that's a lap ahead, but it is what it is. Meanwhile, Greg is still in the lead with I think this will be 4 laps to go as he crosses the finish line. And Blom is still second, having dropped back a bit more time. But I think he'll still be pretty happy with second position. And third is still Richard Coxon, so as I mentioned earlier, it seems like these positions are all set in stone, provided nothing unexpected happens. Fredriksson 4th, Ted's 5th, and Wilkes 6th, so the Hondas are having a good showing once again, at least, so they should be pulling away in the team championship after this race. That looks like the gaps are Owen Lavac runs wide out of Cascades. That should pull.
Oh! Wilkes off at Island Tunnel before it, and he's just managed to come back again. Oh, that's close. That could have ended with, well, tears. He just drifted out a bit wide, but he kept it just away from the barrier. Nice control there.
Yeah, it was very fortunate that he didn't drive any quicker than that, because then he would probably have ended up in the tie barriers. But as you say, a good save. Unfortunately, the gap behind was so big that he didn't even lose a position running wide there. Boss and Simmons are still having a little bit of a fight as well, although the fight is maybe a little bit one-sided because of the V6 engine in the in the Ford compared to the 1-year-old Vauxhall engine in Simmons Cavalier. But still, the handling of the Cavalier was always said to be good by their drivers, so he's able to keep up pretty neatly. And his tyre wear could possibly be better. So always Boss runs wide at Cascades. This should open up a chance for Dave Simmons going down Lakeside Straight. But we can see the engine power in that Ford. He pulls ahead and has the line into Island Bend. And into the hairpin. Always runs deep once again, but and a bit of a nudge from Simmons.
Hansen has passed Lavak after the first two turns. What's Island turn is now in P7. Not long to go. So he's finally gapped. Well, he's gapped by 2 cars now. Gapped once.
Yep. It was very sensible from Lavage to back out going into Island. You definitely don't want to be on the outside going through that left-hander. I also noticed that...
Riddle...
No, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Riddle has parked his car though. Raymond Riddle... Oh, I think... Could has been have... Yes? No? Yes? No, I'm not... Yes, yeah. I think he had a flat left front tire after contact with one of the Knickerbocker tire barriers, so he... so the cars between Same and Canton stays by 1 because Raymond is gone now. Because of his retirement.
And that's unfortunate. And
but it looks like David Saber can't keep up anyway, so...
Yeah, and it looks like Richard Coxon has made a mistake, because Jacobsen is back up into 3rd position and Coxon is under fire from Jundt. As Jundt runs deep into Knickerbrook. And this is the second to last lap, I think. So the fight is on here.
Yeah, Manchester Championship too. Probably Richard got up too hot.
Okay. Well,
But for some reason.
Well, the gap between 1st and 2nd has dropped, lessened as well, but... and Jake... Oh dear me! Jundt completely missed his braking point into turn 1 at Old Hall and sent both of them into the barriers.
Jacob Fredriksson has retired. I think he lost he disconnected.
Oh no. That's so unfortunate. Well, this is now battle for 3rd position, and it looks like Coxon has...
What?
Oh, Coxon has a puncture. They were both into the barriers, and Coxon has a right front puncture and is in the wall again.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, it looked like...
Maybe hardware failure, but that looked... yeah, I mean, he barely braked. Took him out there, what the hell? There's Plato right there, but no, I don't know what that was unbelievable. I mean, it's like his brakes failed.
Well, this really costs Richard Coxon in the championship battle as well, because I don't think he'll even be able to finish in the top 10 now. I think the battle for 10th is coming up to him now, so he will score no points in this race.
Oh, Richard wins off the track.
Oh dear me. I wonder if he hit the tire bundles maybe. But in the meantime, Grégoire Goissin has finished the race in first position. Peter Blum takes second, and third, as long as he can get the car to the finish, and a long way behind would be Jundt. Although there'll probably be some discussion in the stewards' room after that turn 1 incident.
Personally, I don't care whether this was a technical issue or not, but this will probably, at least be some discussion in the steward room afterwards, because I feel that has been a bit.
Yep, and actually 4th overall finishing is Dylan Canton. Sorry to cut you off, but Dylan Canton gets 4th overall and takes the Privateer win.
Wow.
That's amazing.
5th BMW, nice.
Oh, he'll be whooping and hollering in that car. Johan Boss finishes, I think that's 7th, or 6th maybe. Owen Richard Wilkes, I think that was.
What the hell was that?
Oh,
there was a crash in the background.
Oh dear.
Hunter Milton, Michel, Janak, Chapman all came together at the last turn.
Well, that's unfortunate, but at least they finished the race by the looks of things. Matthew Hull is still trying to finish his final lap. And it's actually the last running car by the looks of things. No, Matthias Weber is also running, but he's further laps down. But we'll give Matthew Hull some screen time as he finishes his lap. But to go through the grid, Greg takes the win. Peter Blum gets second, Titz gets third, Canton takes 4th overall and the win in the Privateer class. Lavach gets 5th and his first race for BMW. Johan Boss gets 6th, the best finishing position so far for the Mondeo team. Dave Simmons gets 7th, Coxon gets 8th, and not sure how the rest of the field finished, unfortunately.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Not even sure if it was, I think 9th was Sape, but then it was Wilkes and then Martinelli in 11th, but I'm not sure anymore.
User joined your channel.
Okay. Well,
hello guys.
There we go. As we are joined by Peter Blum. Good evening.
Yeah, straight from the Caribbean, guys. I wanted to race. I had a holiday last week, so but I came home in time for the race. I think it was a pretty good race, but what happened to Richard Coxon?
By the looks of things, either there were a hardware issue or some kind of issue at least, because Jan Titz completely hit him up the rear going into Old Hall, turn 1. And they both ended up in the outside wall, and unfortunately Richard Coxon picked up a puncture.
Was it a mistake from Jan then, or?
Yeah, Jan made some kind of mistake. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but he hit Richard in the rear, and both of them went into the barriers.
Oh dear, oh dear. Have you just seen what he wrote? He thought the race was finished.
Yeah.
That's a bit...
I'm sorry, but that was true. Who is crashing into other people after the finishing line?
I do that sometimes.
Well, from the leagues I come, I don't do that, and you shouldn't, because you would get penalties for it.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's being honest. That should be a credit to him.
I hope he is.
Unfortunately, I think they'll accrue some kind of penalty. Unfortunately. But it looks like you had a pretty good race there, Peter. If somewhat uneventful, maybe.
Yeah, well, Greg was a little bit too fast, and especially out of the slow chicanes. And I had some concentration issues, I think, middle part of the race. But in the last part of the race, I regained a few seconds again. And I hope I can do better in the second race and stay with Greg, and hope to force him into. Because lately Greg is not making mistakes anymore. So.
Well, everything is possible.
Close game. Yeah, and but I was lucky to get past Jan in the first lap, because otherwise I would have been locked up behind him as well. And I gave him a little bit of a bump in the back at the right-hander, the banked corner, and I could go past.
Okay. Well,
I was afraid he would ram me back for that, but he didn't.
well, the circuit has been said to be a bit difficult to pass on, but the drivers usually like it. So, what are your thoughts on the circuit in entirety?
I like the track. It's great flowing track, and it's a bit narrow, I think, and bumpy, but I think it's good for fighting, but better in a group, I think. So I hope Greg will make a bad start in the second race, so the race will be a little bit more event.
Well, you can always out-qualify him and then get a better start.
And it's quicker than. Yeah, I problems making a good front with the front wheel.
Well, I think we'll thank you for now and wish you good luck for the second race. And unless David has any questions to round off, I guess not. So thank you, Peter, for joining us between the races here, and good luck for the second one.
Thank you, mate. Later.
User disconnected from your channel.
At the moment, I'm just staying silent because I'm just like collecting what I've seen so far, especially in the battle for the podium. When there is some heated discussion on. I mean, at first it looked like took a bit some liberal lines at turn 1, then got flashed for it. Then Richard once tapped his back and both spun off, which of course was his mistake, and he gave the position back, which dropped them back to Fredriksson. Then Jan is talking about issues about being punted and such. Wender's like saying that some maybe a bit of contact, but it's also BTCC, and some people look like it's a bit moving over on auto drivers. So I'm not sure what. I mean, if Jan missed that was the last lap, which I'm not really getting into, because you get a 1 lap notification and all that, you know. Even then, like crashing somebody off the line, I don't really like that, and like paying it that way back to somebody for feeling like being treated wrongly. This is not my cup of tea, and this shouldn't be on, really, to be honest. I'm leaving this to the studs, but I'm not really pleased with what I'm seeing so far today, so yeah, we'll see.
Yep, so with that, with the first race in the bags, with another win for Grégoire Gossin in this championship, we'll take a short break for about
Back with quali soon.
For about 4 minutes, and then we'll be back with the qualifying 2 for the second race this evening. Welcome back to the second qualifying for the second race here at here at Oulton Park International in the 1996 British Touring Car Championship, hosted by HSO, Historic Simracing Organisation, and we are in the second qualifying, and David Jundt is still with me here, so we'll try to cover the second qualifying to the best of our ability. And currently at the head of the field actually is Peter Blom.
That's very nice to see, but I guess we'll have to see the last from Gregoire on a serious attempt. I've also just rejoined the game to see if my lag issues get away, because the first race was really hard to tell people's racing lines. But yeah, I'm back now.
Okay. Well, I had a little bit of lag I noticed, but nothing that was too bad. Second currently is Jakob Fredriksson. Third is Matthias Weber in the Nissan, doing a good job. Another car I noticed now is missing, I think. I wonder, is David Yates here?
Wasn't he actually full time now?
I thought he was. He
Well,
should
yeah,
be in the
I've
second
seen him
Nissan,
either.
but I can't remember seeing a second Nissan on the grid. But anyway, actually Matthias Weber now goes up into second, I think. Still Peter Blom. Yeah, no, sorry, actually Richard Coxon has gone up to second on the grid. Third is Matthias Weber still. Fourth, Jakob Fredriksson, so he's dropped back 2 positions with that. Fifth is Yves Placé. So after a unfortunate outing in the first race, he's back on form in this second qualifying session. Sixth is Richard Wilkes. Seventh is Ray Ridal. Eighth is David Saber, doing the Vauxhall Cavalier fans proud. Ninth currently is Greg Guassa, but let's see if he improves here and now. He does indeed. He goes up into second, so that's a much better lap from him.
Just 40,000 to Blom, not bad.
And that's very
Just
impressive.
the exit. Yeah, the exit of. Oh, that's twice extending the track way too far, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not sure how much of that strange AstroTurf is part of the track.
I actually haven't checked up on the specific regulations, but if there are no exception to the rules, the extra AstroTurf, as you would probably call it, is not curbing at all. So 2 wheels inside the white lines everywhere around here. But 9th on the grid currently, I think.
Ooh, totally off on the course for Greg. Probably needs a new try, since some of his laps bonus didn't quite work for him.
Yep. And there's also been a small change for this second
Here
race.
comes a good try.
Matthew Hull has jumped from the number 8 Volvo, which will be driven by, I think, Karel for this. Actually, no, sorry. See if I can find that Audi at all here. Sorry, Volvo. So the second Volvo is currently not here, but Matthew Hull will be driving the Peugeot that Svenja Titz usually drives, the number 5. So it'll be interesting to see if he can score a better result in this second race.
Greg is very eager to do well and get pole since he's flashing at David Saber, and I think Peter Labak very much. I mean, he's just went past them, but I'm not sure if they had an outlap or not. But I mean, if somebody is on a lap, then I would say you can't just go and flash pull. But I think they were on an outlap.
Well, no matter what, you can always give them one flash to say I'm on a good lap, and then it's up to them if they are on the lap.
Well, it felt more like a thunderstorm.
Okay, then maybe a bit much. But anyway, he finishes the lap,
And he was still just a 10th off. What the fuck? Oh dear, that means go a lot fast.
well, he is HSO's quickest qualifier, no matter the car, so he doesn't always get the pole because he's in a lesser car, but he's definitely one of the quickest drivers.
I suggest dropping back to this where there's a big nice gap where nobody can drop to him or like get into his way, because that way it would be easier to get a good time instead of like going too fast and then running into people and then having flashed them all the time, because that's where you just lose concentration. So I would probably do it a bit differently, but he's under time pressure, so hasn't got much time.
Yeah.
As Richard Cox gives way to him. But I don't really understand. Look, there's Jundt ahead of him, there's Ben Pollet ahead of him. If they don't make way, then, and I think they will, then he's just being angry again. Because people are ahead of him and in his way. Well, I can't tell. My usual tactics are different in qualifying. Oh, as Ben Pollet goes off and Gregor just follows him.
Oh dear, well now he at least has a gap, I suppose.
He does.
Also, I noticed in the lead in the privateer class at the moment, or on for pole in the privateer class I should say, is David Saber yet again, so it would seem like he's the quickest total cup driver when it comes to qualifying. Second currently is Dylan Canton, so he's definitely always, he runs very deep into fall stones, but he definitely seems to be on form. And I think that would be Mick Chapman actually currently in third in the total cup qualifying, and Ivan Anderson fourth, and Dave Simmons fifth.
So far a good lap for Guar. He's hitting the cuts decently. Could still be a good chance to get pole into the chicane. Oh no, he's lost it. Oh, into the tire stack there at the exit. That's it. That's pole for Blom, I would say.
And he's actually rejoined a bit too quickly because I don't think he has his wheel back on. So okay, he has. It was just a graphical glitch. Very quick job from the Volvo team.
Even then it doesn't matter, we've got only 20 seconds.
And it looks like he did indeed realize that. And yeah, that means that Peter Blom will most likely take the pole here today. Unless Richard Coxon can do anything about it.
Yes. I'm not sure, I mean... Rip missing at the front end.
It would take a lot to take the pole now, I think, running that wide through Druids. And again a bit wide at Lodge.
Probably won't happen. far off his own lap, but not enough. As Jundt hits his ones behind him. Oh no.
So it would indeed seem like Peter Blom will take the pole here, and David Saber. I don't think any other privateer car is out on the track. There is not, so David Saber will take the pole in the privateer class. I think 11th or 12th overall. So I think he will be happy with that, even though he had a.
Here comes.
And I think he finished
No,
second in the
Weber's done.
first race. And Weber pulls into the pits instead of finishing his lap, so he wasn't happy with that. See only David Saber then to finish his lap. As he runs
I'm a
very
bit
deep to
surprised
Druids and drops it.
I'm surprised that Matthew Hall actually changed teams, because how I see it so far, the second Volvo driver hasn't coined for this race so far.
Well, maybe it's the case of he hasn't said anything, so let's assume he will be driving tonight, and that's why he, between races, has been offered to drive for the Peugeot team.
Probably.
So on pole for the second race will be Peter Blom, so that's very interesting. So yeah, after that first race and the kerfuffle that has occurred there, what are your thoughts on what could possibly happen in the second race here?
Hopefully not a carbon copy of Race of One. I didn't even remember the point standings, so I'm not sure if Greg has gotten the lead so already or not, but
I
could be
don't.
close now.
Well, we can have a quick look on the top 5 at least. He was 11 points behind Richard and 8 behind Jan, so I think with that Jan will have retaken the lead in the championship. Greg will probably be second and Richard third. Possibly even fourth, because Peter Blom is fairly close behind as well on 56 points.
Well, I'm doubting the points for our Audi driver so far, because, yeah, obvious reasons.
Well, that'll be sorted out a little bit later, I think.
Well, let's put my money on Greg this time, not on pole piece, causing some surprises. Jan is probably going to try it to turn 1 as soon as possible, maybe getting the lead. He's probably gonna jump 2 cars, and Peter will probably end up with him. So if I'm predicting that if Jan manages to go to second ahead of Greg and Peter leading, I'm gonna say that Peter will win. Maybe something else happens and Jan, for example, doesn't get to pass Greg, but otherwise I would go with Peter as the winner.
That is a very likely, well, a possibility of what can happen. I suppose a dark horse would yet again be Richard Coxon, who I think is third or fourth on the grid. showed some pace in the first race, although he made some kind of mistake, which cost him. And then what happened, but he would probably also be in with a shot. And if anything happens to any of those guys, I think Jacob will be in the prime position yet again to score a good finishing in this race as well. And hopefully also Yves Placé will be able to get a good finish in the second race and forget what happened in the first race, because he was doing very well up until that point.
Some interesting comments here.
Mm-hmm.
Czech Republic drivers being unhappy with their qualifying positions near, well, the southern end of the. You are encouraging them to climb up the formation, to climb up the rankings information. Pete Labak showing his love for his car. Might be slower and more difficult, but it feels like a proper race car. Like saying, implying the front wheel driven shopping trolleys are not.
Well, it is difficult to get the front wheel drive car to actually feel like a rear wheel drive car, and because of history itself with rear wheel drive being what was considered the proper configuration, it's understandable that some drivers would feel that way.
Dylan can't complain about this lawnmower. Well, you gotta wait until V kicks in, yo. And we have the bad puns of the bad puns. It's like Dylan having his car complaining about lawnmower, saying like, yeah, I'm always saying, yeah, it's a Honda, you know, that's why it's a lawnmower, Honda. And then people do it on your own accord.
Oh.
Well done, we have
Oh, it hurts.
With Pete Blom.
Oh, it hurts. Oh, that's so bad. Well, let's forget what was just said, because, well, maybe some of you found it fun, but a bad pun is a bad pun. The sound on the Ford, on the other hand, is lovely. Really fantastic sounding engine.
Meanwhile, I'm still waiting for the Fords to have something kick in, whatever that has the car. Honda has a VTEC and whatever, but Ford sounds like they need echo boost.
It looks like the race will be fairly imminent here, so that's good.
Looks like Jacob had a power up.
Ah. That's one of the wonderful sides of sim racing. That's what you would call a broken header, or a blown engine, or a lost wheel, or anything in any of those kind of things that may force you to retire in real life, to make it feel a bit more correct. It is very unfortunate.
No, I can very much confirm I don't have a Honda. God got me that I don't have. Especially not a turbo one.
Well, Hondas aren't that bad as such. May not be the most impressive cars as such, some of the coolest cars, but at least the Hondas I've come into contact with myself has been very reliable. A Honda my father owned went down to about 1/10 of a Swedish crown per Swedish mile he drove it, so very cost efficient, that one. But anyway, the race will be starting in a minute or two here.
Actually, I can confirm though that I'm driving sometimes a Ford. So yes, that's that. But it's smaller than a Mondeo. Not that it matters anyway.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
I won't even say what I think of Fords. I think we'll better leave that be. But anyway, the cars are starting to join the grid for this second race tonight, and it'll probably be a proper stonker, and hopefully lining up on the grid will be a bit smoother than it was for race 1.
Yeah, I hope we don't have to wait like I don't know, an eternity until the race starts. Because Grandma forgot to get a car in the right grid slot. Oh, sorry, Grandma isn't taking part, so I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Yeah. Failed attempt at the intro. The ones that I just did on the server were much better than that, but hey, anyone can laugh about Hondas these days.
Indeed. And talking about Hondas, Peter Blom took the pole in his Honda Accord with a very impressive performance in the second qualifying session. Grégoire Goissin maybe disappointed somewhat with only a second place, but first over this. Coxon took third, Jundt is in fourth yet again, so he'll be looking to go for the lead once again. Jakob Fröksen qualified 5th with Weber 6th. Ridal actually qualified 8th, so that's a bit of an improvement for him, so that's good to see. Richard Wilkes qualified 9th, and 10th is Yves Placé, so a bit further down in the end than when compared to the first race, but with the rear-wheel drive will probably have a decent start anyway. Havlik 11th, Sabre 12th and first of the privateers. Canton 12th and or 13th maybe, but second on the privateers. Just have to make a quick shift to make sure. Juha Bors 13th. Andersen 15th or 14th. Philippe Martinelli, I think that is, in 15th. Simmons 16th. Michal Janak 17th. Lavac a bit further down the grid this time in 18th. And rounding out the grid is Hansa Mill, Simon Watman, Matthew Hull, Alan Forster and Ben Paulet, who is a bit further down.
Mick Chapman has retired before the race has started. He's even left game and he's not even being shown on the server anymore, I think.
I wonder if there may be a restart then. Give him a chance, but
well,
we'll see.
It's not near the formation sub-lap, so I doubt it, as we go to red lights.
And the green light is on and the race is on. It looks like Peter Blom is going to... Oh, actually, Tits tries to run around outside. And he takes the lead. What a fantastic start from him. And it looks like everyone got through turn 1 okay. So, yep, Jan Tits is in the lead. Blom is second. And he'll probably try to do what he did earlier. Get by him as soon as possible. I think everyone got through Cascades alright as well. Coxon is trying to challenge Greg just a little bit, but he isn't able to do so. And Blom tries around outside on Tits. That's a bit brave, but he gets a good run, so maybe he'll have an overlap here. He has a bit of an overlap, but he drops back behind. And we'll try again later. And Tits actually takes the defensive line right here. Going down into Nicky Brook. But he stays ahead. And it's really close here. Owen Greg was on the grass, coming through Nicky Brook there. I wonder if that may leave him vulnerable to Richard Coxon behind him. Not just yet. Oh, I think there were a bit of a touch up ahead between Blom and Tits. And Tits covers the inside, but he isn't able to do so. And Blom is up the inside. Still a little bit of an overlap. Oh, but he isn't able to take position. Really cramming him out to the outside, but I think he... Coxon up, Goissin up the inside. Oh, just a little bit running a little bit wide between all of them, but they get through it okay. Remy, it's really on here for the lead. Sorry to those running a bit further. As Tits runs wide through coming up to Cascade. Sorry to those a bit further behind, but we'll try to catch up with those guys as the race goes on. As right now the racing is really tight for the lead. It looks like Blom will want to try and round outside again, and Greg really flies the car up the inside into the hairpin, but is not able to make it stick.
Oh, but he lost David Sabe.
And that's really unfortunate. He took the pole again as well. Oh, and I think Blom was really close to hitting the tyres that time around. Goissin is looking up the outside. Oh, actually on the grass as he turns in. Able to hold it though. And Tits has got a little bit of a gap here now.
Sabe collided with Cat, then had contact with, I think, Petto. And then he spun on the grass to the inside barrier. Oh, he got another whack from Martinelli, I think, and then he lost his front bumper.
It's very unfortunate. Presumably there were more problems with the cars as well.
Yeah, probably bent steering and suspension, so I guess he called it a quit. He held the quits right away. Shame for his consistent display.
Yep. Actually leading the privateer class at the moment is Eivind Andersen, so he profited from the incident between Sabre and Canton, so I think he will be happy with that. But with that we'll move up the grid again, because the fighting is still on for the lead, I think, even though it's more line astern at the moment, though Tits runs wide into through Cascades again, so Jan is really struggling with that turn. It's really difficult to pass. Oh, and Tits is on the grass. Holy God. Oh, and Blom is off as well. He left just a bit too much room there. And that puts Greg in the lead, and I don't think he'll drop this lead anytime soon. That's unfortunate for Blom. He was on for it, but
Oh, Tits! What?
Oh, and really close to the tires that time was Yves Placé, trying to look up the inside of Fredriksson. A bit of tire smoke there. Actually, it's a Honda battle back here with Blom trying to get by Wilkes. Oh, and the Ford is off onto the grass. Maybe... who would that be?
Again.
Well, I didn't think he'd be driving the second race, but there you go. And the fight for the privateer class is on as well. Ivan takes a lot of the inside, and Canton is right behind him here. And also Dave Simmons is in with this battle, so it's a three-way fight for the lead here. So that's good to see. And a lot of track being used.
Adam Forster into the pit. Alan Forster.
Oh, and both the Hondas off. Both the Hondas are off at Cascades. Oh, and the contact. Oh, dear me. That would have been Dylan Canton, actually, when contacted Peter Blom. Peter Blom lost his rear wing, and Dylan Canton span off.
Martinelli also related with Holland, sent him into a spin at the last turn.
Oh dear. Looks like Richard Wilkes got stuck in the gravel, but thankfully was able to get out. But let's see if we can catch it back up with what's happened back here.
Yep. Oh, and Peter Lovelock has no rear wing. Oh, he lost it before the island.
Well, they were side by side going through Dentons. Oh, and a bit of a touch. Maybe not quite enough room left there, unfortunately, and Wilkes hit the wall very hard. Ended up in the gravel and stuck for quite a while. And that's really unfortunate.
Lovelock lost his rear wing because of his spin and island turn.
When Canton is in trouble as well, presumably a puncture or something.
Now it's a shit car. Now it's a drift car.
Oh, indeed it is. That's unfortunate as well. Oh. He will have a real struggle with that car for the rest of the race, unfortunately. But in the meantime, Greg has run away with the lead here, yet again, having probably about a 2-second gap to Richard Coxon now in second. So he's gotten by Jan Tits somewhere. Tits is in third, and Fredriksson fourth, and Placé fifth. So a lot of stuff happened right there, as everything else went on, and Eivind Andersen leaves room for Ben Paulet to go by. And unfortunately, that incident between Blom and Canton put a stop to the fight for a privateer lead for the time being. Although it could be on later on in the race. Dylan has lost a lap here, so presumably has some steering damage, or maybe more damage beside that, but at least he's running very slow here, unfortunately. But he obviously wants to finish to try and score some points. And it's actually 2 Hondas out, so it looks like Lavach is out, and I think that's Alan Forster's car. also out of the race. It's just one of those things, unfortunately, and as Gregoire runs wide through Old Hall, it looks like some of the other drivers are running a little bit wide as well. One of the more interesting parts now, I suppose, will be whether Richard Coxon can catch up to Greg or not. Presumably it'll be a very difficult task.
Probably, and my expectations already, I think I'm jinxing people left and right as people
Looks like
just have more bad luck.
Owen Coxon has disconnected, I think. Yeah, Richard Coxon has disconnected from the race.
Oh dear God. Not looking good tonight, apparently.
No, that's his lead in the championship surely gone, unfortunately. And I wonder if Greg wins, he could very well take the lead in the championship after this evening's races. Battle for second could be on though between now Jundt and Jakob Fredriksson. And this has also promoted Yves Placé up to 4th position, so he could be in with a shout at the podium finish. That would be a big improvement for him and the BMW team. It hits very sideways through cascades, but it stays on the track on coming out of it this time around.
Dylan Canton also out, as well as Matthew Hull. Does the collective disconnect suddenly?
Possibly. Well, we know Canton was struggling with a damaged car, so maybe he tried to repair it, but it wasn't repaired well enough by the team, so he decided to park it instead of risking other drivers. As Jundt had to shortcut the Fallstone chicane. Now a big gap. Oh, actually, Yves Placé has dropped back quite a lot as well. He must have made a mistake somewhere. So he was already behind there. Oh, he had a spin coming through Island. He arrived a little bit too quickly and did exactly what Matthias Weber did in race 1. Dropped the wheel on the grass, and luckily, he was collected just a little bit by, I think that's Havlik in the Vauxhall. But thankfully, or hopefully, no damage to the car. Just some lost time there. And in Privateer, actually, I just noticed Dave Simmons is right behind Øyvind Andersen now, had a look going into Old Hall. But dropped out of it and going through cascades. Both drivers having a good run through there by the looks of things. Simmons trying to make use of the draft here, but not able to get too much closer.
Oof. It's nearly collected at the bottle there and had to cut through.
That's not the first time, unfortunately. Maybe he's trying a bit more than the car allows him to. It looks like this could be a good battle for the Privateer lead between Øyvind in his venerable Toyota Carina and Dave Simmons in the Vauxhall Cavalier. looks like Øyvind has some good pace because Total Cup Championship leader Simmons isn't able to get too much closer to Øyvind at the moment. Bit of accordion effect in some turns and braking zones, but looks like Dave had a good run through it still. Very late on the brakes into Lodge. Looks like Øyvind has very good runs out of the turns. A bit further up the field again. Fight is still on for second position. And third position. And Jan is it is second, right? Yeah, it is. Sorry, my bad.
Huge pressure there. Huge pressure on him now.
Yep. Owen Jacob was really deep on the brakes going into Folstons. And he had trying to unrattle Jan just a little bit by showing himself in his mirrors. But again, it looks like the Audi has really good drive out of the slower turns, especially the chicanes. But it's very nervous, moving around a lot in the faster turns. I wouldn't put it past Jacob to give it a bit of a try somewhere. When it's very sideways through lots, but get a good run still out of the turn, so this fight will probably be on for the rest of the race. Again, looking a bit further down, we now have Matthias Weber in 4th position, doing a good job in the Nissan. 5th actually is Ray Riddell, so that's a good solid improvement from him compared to his previous 4 rounds in the BMW. 6th is Peter Blom in his battered Honda
Here comes
Accord.
Dave Simmons. Dave Simmons on the attack by side with Anderson.
Ooh, that's very dangerous going through Dentons.
Ooh, little tact. But they manage. It was just because Øyvind went wide the first turn, enabling Dave to get a run on him.
They definitely gave it a good go. And it looks like Dave might be just a tad quicker than Øyvind at the moment. He gets a good run out of Folstons. Not quite a Cavalier-sized gap on the outside going into Knickebrook. Looks like a lot of wheel spin from both of these cars going out of the slower turns. Further down, just behind them, I think it wouldn't quite be in the top 10 that fight would it, but you have Vågs, I think that would be indeed. It's actually 9th, and Øyvind Anderson is actually in 10th at the moment, so it is this Privateer fight for the lead is actually also a fight for a point overall. And just behind them is Michal Janak in his Peugeot. Philippe Martinelli is behind him in his Audi in 13th, sorry. 14th is Simon Wattman and 3rd in Privateer. So he's doing a solid job after a very lackluster Silverstone event. And Richard Wilkes is trying his best to get up the field after his coming together with his teammate at Cascades. and
Just noticed that Nick Chapman had a crash to desktop, and I was connected drivers. Canton had like a sudden lag spike, then was lost, and then decided to retire. So we've got some weird stuff happening tonight.
that's very unfortunate. Actually, for the lead in the privateer class now, we have Dave Simmons, so he's gotten by Ivan Anderson. Having a little bit. All we had was again getting a run. He got a run out of the Fallstone chicane. Ivan ran a little bit deep into the chicane, and he took the outside run into Knickerbrook. Simmons got up inside going over the hilltop and simply outbroke him going into Knickerbrook, and managed to stay on the tarmac and got the lead. So that's impressive.
Frederick's still trying hard.
Interesting to see.
He's cutting it again. He's cutting the chicane again. Come on, mate. You gotta learn how to just on the road, mate. Oh, Fredrickson, late move outside, and he goes into second.
Wow, that's really impressive. So Tits cutting finally cost him. So let's see. This move on TV cams as well. I was on board with Jan at the time it happened. But Jacob,
Looks a bit like he gave it back after cutting again, but can't really tell. He should just tone it down, and he could be better off not to. But here we go. Let's see if he can shake up on the pressure for a second again.
it should be possible, but you never know. Oops, sorry for that. Oh, you're using a lot of the inside of the track going through Old Hall. Doesn't look like he gained much from it. The car became very, very unstable, but he gets a good run through Cascades. So he's up the inside. Please be sensible here. He drops back, so he doesn't try anything at Island Bend, which is probably the sensible and correct thing to do. Oh, he's sideways into. Oh. So still a bit of braking issues going on for some of the boys. Jundt hits that time around. I think the car was a bit unsettled because of going through the fast left-hand of Island, and he hadn't settled the car down before he applied brakes. And I also noticed just behind these guys the fight for fourth is on between Matthias Weber, Ray Dahl and Peter Blom is actually closing up to these guys despite having no rear wing on his car.
Yep.
Which is very impressive. And for the privateers, the gap is a little bit bigger now, but Simmons is still leading the class and is in 10th overall. So looks like Ivan is struggling just a little bit to turn the car. Bit of understeer, but yes. Leading still, by the way, is Greg Guassa, and he has a massive lead now. The fight for second has made him drop a lot of time, and because Coxon unfortunately disconnected. Oh, as I say that, Greg runs deep at Island, and oh dear, Greg lost a bit of time then. But yeah, it looks like when Jan has someone to follow through Cascades, he can get really good runs through there. But unfortunately for him, the following turn is Island Bend, and it's...
Oh, Peter Blom is off! Oh no! Oh, he's into the barriers.
But the
Stuck
car,
in the kitty litter.
but the car is...
Out again ahead, Eve plus. But Eve has a good run. Oh, Eve! Oh.
Tried a bit too hard.
Dear. This is not drift race. Oh man. It was close.
Yep. Also, now maybe there'll be a fight here as well. and Miroslav Havlik aren't that far behind either, so he could be in with a shot for, I think that would be sixth or seventh position overall. Sixth position, I guess.
It's on it. Fredriksson blocking the inside at the last one.
And parks the bus, as the Americans likes to say, when he stopped at the apex of the turn. Just behind them, the battle is on for fourth as well. But let's follow this battle for second.
Let's see if Tits has a good run. Oh, no. Oh, let's see if he has a good run out this turn. Cascade, it's not enough overlap to pass him. Maybe a good run. Oh. So they're closing in on Honza Mill. Honza was moving over, I don't know why.
Well, very sporting, he's a lap behind, so
Ooh,
very close.
It looks like he has a punked something. He's smoking on the right front.
Oh, and Havlik has been off the road at Island at Shell Oil's hairpin. Probably ran with a bit too much speed through there. And the fight for fourth is still on, but a slightly bigger gap than previously. I would indeed say that Honza is running with a puncture, but he's staying well off the racing line and at some points the racing surface, so he's being very, very courteous to his fellow racers. And looks like Ray has come to grips with the Renault after the first race, and definitely challenging Birbe for fourth here.
Michael Janok was close to Øyvind Anden, but I think he clipped the tire bundle at the Knickerbocker chicane, and he did a full 360. But he lost a lot of time though. I was just wondering why he dropped her back, and then I saw that he had that contact there. Nice spin though. I give it 8 out of 10.
It's interesting. Honza has actually opted to not go into the pits here. I wonder if he may have suspension damage.
Tits and Fredriksson at the chicane. No. Fredriksson keeps the inside line.
Actually noticed there's a bit of damage to the left front of Fredriksson's car, so maybe he's had contact somewhere and damaged the car, and that's why he's under 5 from Tits, more than because it looked like he was quicker before, but now he seems slower. And Ray Ridal runs wide out of Druids and got a bit of time.
Greg Goyson wins.
Oh, sorry.
Greg Goyson wins.
We completely lost track of time, but Greg takes the win.
Fredriksson second. It's third.
Fredriksson gets second, Tits third.
Ridal fourth. Fifth.
Should be.
Yeah, Weber suddenly getting shown as fifth. What's strange.
Maybe Ray running
sixth.
wide lost him a sector split, but he will be fifth. Either way, sixth for a bit of contact between Havlik and one of the Fords. I think that's Bors. A bit strange there, but winning the privateer class is Dave Simmons after a good drive here, and Eivind Andersen gets second. Philippe Martinelli finishes, I think, 11th overall. Yes, indeed. Simon Wattman looks to get 12th and 3rd in class, and on the last lap, last turn actually, Michal Janak has ended up in the kitty litter.
And Matthias Weber has not been classified as 15th, but that's not true. Like the game forgot for lap for him. Oh, look at that! Holzer Mild goes off. Oh, he's just nearly crashed into Michal Janok.
Well, at least both of them finished, so that's good. That's unfortunate, but any kind of missed timings, as it were, will be sorted out by the admins after the event. So sorry if the finishing order is a bit mingled up here, but that's one of the downsides to simulator racing. So just waiting for Matthias Weber, who has one lap to go because yeah, he did finish, but he still has to cross the finish line because he missed a sector split somewhere, I'd assume. I hope he
didn't see it anywhere. There was a strange bit of lag. He was still collected ahead of Ray. Then suddenly some kind of weird lag bit going on. Then he was suddenly dropped. Now it says DNF.
Yeah,
that's
he
worse.
went into the pits and jumped into the garage. So well, he will be reclassified accordingly to where he was actually finished, but yeah, that's this evening's 2 races done, and Greg showing some scintillating form, taking both wins with quite a few seconds to spare to the guys behind, especially in the second race with the battle between Jakob and Jan. But I think Jakob will be very happy with second place in the Vauxhall.
User joined your channel.
Yo. Well, that was a bad race.
Hello.
Hello. Very bad Honda tactics.
I jinxed you again because I was saying if Tits goes up to second by first turn, which he'd not just go first but second, I was gonna say you could win, and then everything went just downwards from there.
Just watched the replay why I didn't make the corner there, and it seems to be Greg nudged me a little bit, just enough to put me off the track. You lose a lot of time there, so that was a pity.
I checked the replay, it looked like there was a contact, but I can't tell now. I mean, I don't know.
My replay is, I think, better because I've got closer ping than you. Driving
okay.
There. But he nudged me a little bit, just enough to. I didn't notice it in the race, but in the replay it goes a little bit. But after that, I was passed by Richard Wilkes, and 2 times in 1 lap he crushed my front, and just don't let any room, and then regressed out. Simple as that. Watch that replay as well, and I think Richard Wilkes should learn a little bit more driver awareness on the track, because you need to if somebody is alongside you, you need to give room, otherwise people crash. It's a bit basic for racing.
We caught that incident on the stream, and that was very unfortunate indeed, but
stuff happens.
You still managed to recover a little bit.
Yeah, I lost my rear wing, and I did a 140.9 without a rear wing. It was fun to drive those cars without a rear wing. After that, I made another mistake. So. What happened to Richard again?
By the looks of things, he had a disconnection.
Shit. That's a pity.
No, it is indeed, but even so, it looks like at least you had a decent haul of points, even with the incidents that occurred. So you should still be in with
Yeah.
in the championship as such.
Points were okay today. I missed some drivers, like guy in the other one, Olivier Jacques? Nee, Jacques?
David Yates,
Canadian
yeah?
guy. David Yates, yeah.
I don't know exactly what. Well, there is a snowstorm over in the Americas, so maybe.
Oh,
I know he's a snow clear worker, so maybe that's why he wasn't here tonight. Unfortunately.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna watch television, guys. There was an election today in Holland, so.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining
Bye-bye.
us after the race, and congrats on finishing both races, and see you in the next round.
Yeah, okay.
User disconnected from your channel.
And yeah, that was quite a hectic event, all in all.
User joined your channel.
But some good racing along the way, and as we are now joined by Richard Wilkes. Good evening, Richard.
Hello, Jonathan. Oh, I see you're still on the air.
Yeah, we are. We're just talking with Peter, and well, it was an unfortunate incident between you two in the end, but the racing looked to be good up until that point in the second race.
Yeah, well, I came here without any practice, so it was really hard to get up to speed. I was minding my own business on the second race, and well, I heard what he said on the broadcast just before I joined in. I would like to know, how can I brush my rear against his front when I'm in the front, right? I mean, there's nothing I can do. If I'm going along my way, I cannot just pull alongside the racetrack and stop for him to pass. And I don't know what was his idea, trying to pass me on the outside when you're going downhill and the next corner is to my side. I was in front, I was following my line, the track gets more narrow there. There was nowhere I could go. And I was in front, I wasn't going to let stop pass because, you know, he put the nose there and he basically threw me out of the race. I mean, I know that this is, you know, different opinions and all that, and it wasn't a racing incident after all, don't get me wrong. But, you know, I think you should be more patient before trying to pass people.
Well, yeah, you're probably right, but as you say, it looked like a racing incident all in all, so it's unfortunate, but at least it looked like your first race was pretty good, from what I can remember, of course.
Oh yeah, I can only blame myself for losing that 4th place. I mean, I climbed all the way to 4th and then I hit the barriers in the last lap because, I don't know, I lost the concentration. I was confused. I saw Jundt going really slowly and I thought, does he have a problem or something? And in that split second it was enough for me to hit the tires and lose a lot of places.
Well, that's unfortunate. I didn't remember that, but we did catch the end of that incident on the broadcast, I think, but I had forgotten about it because everything that went on around that time in that race. Actually, what is the next round? I haven't been checking up on that. Oh, Snetterton. So what are your thoughts on going there for the next round?
Well, on paper and on real life, it should be a track that should favor the Honda a bit more. You know, it has long straights followed by really slower corners, so the power of the Honda might be useful there. But it's a track that I don't know very well, so let's see what happens.
Well, it's that sounds like a decent plan and hope for that event. David, do you have any further questions?
I guess Junty boy went to eat his supper.
Possibly. Well, he has a cold, so could be for that reason as well that he didn't say anything. But I think that will be. I think we'll end the broadcast with that. Thank you, Richard, for joining us, and David for joining me and commentating on this round as well, and to all of you for tuning into this.
On behalf of HSO.
Sorry,
on behalf of HSO, I wanted to thank you too for, keep these broadcasts up. Thank you very much once again.
You're welcome, and thank you, Richard, and thank you everyone for tuning in, and I hope you'll tune in on Sunday when will that be 6th round of the F1 1991 Championship will continue, this time around Mexico Hermanos Rodriguez circuit, which will probably be a blast. Very fast flowing circuit that. But again, thank you everyone for tuning in, and see you all in the next round.
Sound muted.